Good morning, everybody. Well, we're welcome to the Revelation Station. We're looking at the deeper life uh, we have now for quite a while. This is part 22, so we've had 22 installments. I try to keep it down to about 5 or 10 minutes or so if I can. Every once in a while, we're going to go a little longer because the deeper life is a deep subject. Anyway, coffee time. So we were looking in so far. We're in Romans chapter 7, and we looked at how uh, once the flesh is dead, then you're free to be married to the Lord. The saint is free to be married to the Lord and follow Him. That's called liberty. We get accused of licentiousness, which means, oh, you just want a license to sin. No, not hardly. Now we're free to serve the Lord and yield our members to the Lord, present our body as a living sacrifice to Him. So let's have a look at that. He says in verse in verse 9, 8, sorry, 7, 8, he says, "But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence, for without the law sin was dead. But for I was alive without the law once, but when the commandment came, sin revived and I died." Okay, there's your answer to what happens to a baby when, God forbid, a baby should die. That's what happens is there's no law there. There's no law imputed. The They're alive without the law because they are not accountable to God. And at what point does a child become accountable to God? Uh, there's no hard and fast rule. A lot of people would say about 13, 12 or 13 for sure. But at the point where the child realizes that they're a sinner, like people raised, with exposure to the gospel, will go one of two ways. Sadly, a lot of the kids that are raised in a Christian home and they hear the gospel preached all the time, hellfire and damnation and everything else, they think that somehow they get it in their mind that because they're raised in a Christian home, they're saved. Now that's deadly. It's lethal because if they die, they go to hell. But the uh, um, the other side to that is that if the child is uh, presented with the gospel early, then there's a chance that they reach the age of accountability early, and they get saved, which is optimal, right? Now, somebody who is doesn't really understand the gospel, raised in like a non-Christian home or whatever, or even if they're raised in a Christian home, they may go. Who knows how long it is before God will hold them accountable as sinners? I don't know. I've even heard one fella speculate maybe 20, because a 20-year-old was the age that in the Old Testament they went out to war. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I wouldn't. That might be a little bit old. You know, I think you know the difference between right and wrong before you're 20. Medically speaking, the cerebral cortex in your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25. This is why you have young people under 25 making such horrific decisions that affect the rest of their lives. I'm one included for sure. I know exactly wherever I speak. But anyway, I'll spare you the gory details of my early life. So, uh, so where are we? All right, age of accountability. So, people who are brain injured from uh, early childhood or birth, they're never accountable. Okay, retarded people, Down syndrome, uh, uh, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, people with such a deficit to their cognitive ability, they're not accountable. So this business of, baptize the baby or it'll go in limbo, or baptize the baby because we're afraid he'll go to hell. Um, do you have a God that would send a baby to hell? Poor you. No, every man is without excuse. So uh, once you get to the age of accountability, then you're accountable. But God is loving, kind. God is love. He doesn't throw babies in hell. How twisted is that? Okay, you throw water on the baby if you want. You know, hopefully you do. You clean him up and all that, keep him clean, but it ain't going to save him. And he doesn't need to get saved until he realizes that he is accountable to God as a sinner. A good illustration of this would be if you have a dog. Cats, cats are psychopaths. They don't care if they do something wrong. But a dog, if he does something wrong, say he eats, you know, eats the curtains off the walls or whatever, uh, and you yell at him, you say, "Hey, you know, bad dog," and he knows you're mad at him, and he knows he's done something that displeases you, but he doesn't understand that he's a sinner. That's the difference. He doesn't realize he's accountable to God. So a toddler will know, like he'll be guilty. He'll get his hand in the cookie jar, you know, the proverbial cookie jar, and he'll come around the corner and he'll say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he'll be, you know, like a deer in the headlights. He knows he's not supposed to be doing that. But does he understand that his behavior is an offense to God? No, no, he doesn't. And that's why he's not accountable. He knows he's done something that has broken the moral code of the house or of his parent. And just like the dog knows his master is unhappy with him because he ate the curtains off the wall, right? So I hope that's clear enough. I hope that's uh, so babies don't go to hell. Babies don't go to limbo. Babies just don't float around somewhere. God forbid a baby should die. Instant Lord, absent from the body, present with the Lord. There they are. Okay, well, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and thanks for tuning in.